Hola, bienvenidos a Un Té con Manzanilla. Yo estoy bien contenta de tener a una invitada muy especial porque nuestros caminos se juntaron de una manera muy linda. La verdad es que el haber estado con Georgia, bueno, ya dije su nombre, pero bueno, Georgia ha sido parte de mi proceso de supervisión y la he acompañado en este tiempo y la verdad es que, bueno, yo me he enamorado de esta persona, de esta mujer tan fuerte, tan valiente y no podíamos no contar su historia, así que hoy venimos a contar su historia, a escucharlo y estoy segura que tú, en cualquier parte del mundo donde te encuentres, cuando oigas esta entrevista, vas a sentirte relacionada y vas a sentirte acompañada. Y Georgia entiende español también, ¿verdad, Georgia?
Sí, un poco, pero prefiero hablar en inglés.
Well, yeah, thank you for being here and accept to come and share your story and your process and everything is very I really valuable is I really value what are you doing here and how you uh been open to speak up and to share what is this journey. Welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm very excited to share as well. I'm still in the middle of the journey, like you say. Life's a journey, a constant journey. So yeah, I'm happy to share. And the truth is, I've learned a lot from you, and that's really inspired me to pick myself up and to keep going with like recovery and just discovering my true self and my my life, how I would like it to be without the eating disorder. So I'm very happy to share.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Can you start by telling us a little bit about your story, how everything started, a little bit of you?
Yes, of course. So I'm 25 years old now, and I'm living in England, in the UK, and I was born here. When I was 4 or 5 years old, we moved. So me and my two parents, my sister, moved to live in France. Um, so my whole life, I felt quite different. A foreign person in a foreign country, an English person in France, and the eating disorder. I feel like I've always kind of had um, an unhealthy relationship with food, with my body. Part of that is like diet culture. Part of that is just like family history. Yeah, so I was a fat child, which in hindsight is just an okay, normal thing. However, society and family led me to believe that being fat was bad, encouraged weight loss, encouraged diet culture, um, encouraged exercise in the pursuit of weight loss, and that on and off dieting, on and off trying different exercises to lose weight um, led to me being diagnosed with anorexia at 17 years old during like the sort of biggest exam season period that I'd experienced. So I think the stress of the exams, of school, combined with the encouragement of weight loss for health reasons, which we know now, health at every size. You can be fat, you can be healthy. Fat is okay to be. In the culture that was around me, that wasn't perceived. That wasn't how I was taught.
Yeah, that's very interesting, and thank you for mentioning it because I feel like most of the people that start with an eating disorder it starts with good intentions, right? No one wants to develop an eating disorder just because wants to have an eating disorder. Is most of the time is because they want to be healthy, they want to take care of their bodies, and the thing is like the healthy and the diet culture are very close and tangled right now, and that it's a very delicate line between each one and you don't know when you are going to cross and when this going to be these behaviors are going to come in to be obsessive and then everything is coming in another pattern that is not healthy at all.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree. I think it's um, perceiving health. wanting to take care of yourself from a place of love, genuine love, and true kindness towards oneself. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I think it's when diet culture takes hold of that and twists it that it can become dangerous. Then, healthy relationships with food, with body develop, disordered eating, eating disorders. So yeah, and like you said, nobody wants to have an eating disorder. Didn't know what was happening. I knew something was wrong, always knew something was wrong. However, because it felt so right, because of the external validation, external praise that I was receiving, and that I know many people can relate to that, receiving praise for weight loss, praise for eating vegetables and not eating ice cream, things like that. It does feel good, but it leads to, in the long term, it leads to being unwell, being unhappy.
Yeah.
And that was my experience.
Yeah, and thank you for also mentioning this because I want to go back a little bit. And when you start having anorexia, well, you said like you didn't notice it, but you received this prize, right? Or these like applauses from outside saying like, "Oh, well done." How was that? How now that you go back and see how much that exterior or society part encourage you to continue the path that you just started in that moment?
Yeah, it's a very strange feeling because it part of it feels, you feel successful. For me personally, I was not very good at anything. I wasn't a high achiever at school, in sports. I was always very mid-range. And like I wasn't terrible, I was neither very good. So when I started to lose weight, that was my first success. That was my first experience of being, wow, I am good at this and I am getting praise for this. That felt really good until it didn't. Then I remember very clearly one specific situation where I was exercising, and it was my father that came in, and I think because he hadn't seen me for a long time, he was working a lot, so he didn't realize how much I was exercising. Before he realized, he would praise me and say, "Oh, you're doing really well. You're so disciplined. You look very healthy." Until the day where he was like, "Oh my goodness, are you okay? Get off the running machine. You've been on there for 2 hours. Stop what you're doing. This isn't good." And so then all of a sudden, like, with a snap, that praise turned into worry. And then you feel like you're failing because you feel like you are failing at, essentially, and I feel this often, this feeling still to this day, is I'm a 25-year-old woman and I cannot feed myself. Like in an eating disorder, it takes away your ability to meet one of your basic human needs that most people in the world can do. It makes you feel shamed, and all those positive feelings can quickly turn into more negative feelings of shame, of embarrassment. And having people be so concerned about you isn't personally something that I enjoyed.
Yes. Thank you for that. Also, like you mentioned, how all these people around you couldn't like me. It was telling you like that's not okay. They start being worried, but how the eating disorder put glasses on us and headphones, and we stop listen and see what is around us, and just keep going with these behaviors that is just damaging our health, our mental health, soul in many parts. But I feel like the eating disorder make us not able to recognize that part.
Exactly. I think there is a really difficult time where, when you have an active eating disorder, you know cognitively in your brain, you know that this is wrong. However, you cannot stop.
Yes.
It is, I mean, often in eating disorders and in eating disorder recovery or in diet culture, people say we are addicted to food. The addiction isn't to the food, the addiction is to the restriction, the dopamine hit, the adrenaline that we get from restricting our food and essentially like trying to control our lives. That sense of control, it feels like we have the power when really the eating disorder has the power over us.
Yes. Look at that. I mean, what you said right now is so powerful because it's true. The people that are listening right now and listen like, oh, what did you say? Like, it's not about food. It's about restriction. Could be like feeling that's something wrong, but it's true. It's not about the food. It's not about like can be addiction for food, right? Because we need food to live, so can be any addiction related or relation that we have around the food that what turns problematic, and it turns problematic because the restriction part. You start develop anorexia really young age. You are now 25 years, and then how was this almost 10 years? How was it? What happened between all these years?
Some of it feels like an absolute blur, and I think partly that's because when you have an eating disorder, you are truly disconnected from yourself, disconnected from the world. So it's easy to forget, thankfully, because some parts of it have been quite painful. Like I said right at the beginning, when I was diagnosed, I never wanted to have an eating disorder. So as soon as I was diagnosed, I was like, right, I want to recover. I want to be happy, free. So I feel like for the past almost 10 years, I have been searching for recovery, or trying to recover without fully achieving recovery. And I think partly there's been different reasons for that. Initially, I didn't know what I was recovering from. I was, 17, 18 years old and scared of life beyond recovery. Of, but if I have no eating disorder, am I going to do? Who am I going to be? So scared of that unknown, and then trying to do recovery but still have a little bit of eating disorder so that I gain weight but not too much weight because I don't want to be unhealthy and all blah blah blah. Recovering for my boyfriend, recovering for my parents. And this is why I am now 25 and I feel like I am just truly recovering and no longer trying to recover. And I think there's a difference in the language when I say, oh, I'm trying to recover, I'm doing my best. And you're also not recovering. You are trying to live life and hold on to the eating disorder, which isn't possible. When you're actually in recovery, it feels like you are learning about yourself, you are discovering who you are, and you are learning to let go of the eating disorder. And it no longer feels like you are trying, it feels like you are doing it and learning on the job.
Yeah, you know, yeah, I think like you say it correctly because it's true. We try to recover for many years, and I don't know, and that's my opinion. I don't know what do you think, but I think no one with an active eating disorder doesn't want to be recovered. I feel like all of us wants to be recovered because how an eating disorder is so shitty. Like the life is coming so bad, and it's like, yeah, we have winnings or good things. Let's go put it in quotes. That what happened, like alone, what we feeling inside is just horrible. So I don't think like anyone wants to keep going with an eating disorder. But the thing is like we try to recover. And when we say we try to recover, we try to do it by the rules of the ED, right? Like you
Yeah.
try to recover just a little bit, as you say.
Yeah.
When I reach this point with control most of the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. And it's just not, it doesn't, I, every single time I have, in quotes, tried to recover, I thought, I was convinced this is the time that I am going to be able to recover. And what feels different now for me is that the truth is I don't know, but I know what I do not want, which is I don't want the eating disorder. That's clear. I don't know what I want, but I am willing to discover what I want from my life beyond the eating disorder. Whereas in the past, I don't want the eating disorder. I don't like it. I'm scared of life. I'm just going to try and live my life but with the eating disorder because it's safe. The eating disorder is safe and it's easy. It's horrible, painful, but it's easy to live according to an eating disorder because the eating disorder gives you a rule book to follow day by day. Do this, walk this, exercise this, and then eat this, and okay, go to bed, repeat the next day.
Yes.
It's easy. It's horrible, but easy. Recovery is you take all that away, all that beautiful plan that the eating disorder gives you. You have to go against every single rule, and it's scary, it's hard, it's really difficult. You can enjoy it. There are moments where it's nice, it feels good, but when you are in it, it's like, why am I doing this? This is so hard. But when you've overcome one part of recovery, you've challenged one fear, you've gone against one of the eating disorder rules, you feel this pride, or personally, I can only speak from my experience, but I feel this pride inside of me and this sense of achievement that comes from deep inside me. It's not external. It feels like it's from my core. That is a very empowering feeling. I want that feeling for everybody because it feels truly good.
Yes. What do you think make that switch in you? First try to recover, now doing recovery. What happened?
I can't pinpoint exactly what happened. I think I have basically, it's like a process of elimination. I've exhausted all other options. So I feel like I've tried to recover by a meal plan. I've tried recovery by becoming a gym girl. I've tried recovering, but only on whole foods or being vegetarian. Or I've tried all the options, and none of them have been successful. This time, the thing that's changed is that I have no other options. I've made all the mistakes, and again, I'm saying there's mistakes, but mistakes aren't bad things when you can learn from them. So I've learned the hard way because it's taken almost 10 years. I've done all the things. I've tried every single way. I've got nothing else to try apart from fully surrendering and fully letting go or learning to let go of the eating disorder, because that switch happens, but that doesn't mean that you recover like that. That switch happens. You decide, right, recovery is happening now. I have no more time to lose. And then you have to choose every single moment, because it's not just when you have your 3 meals a day, choosing every single moment to go against the eating disorder. You decide, you make your decision that you recovered, you've learned that you cannot hold on to the eating disorder and live your life with freedom. And then you have to make those choices every day that align with your decision of recovery, that align with your values. And you discover, you learn, you make mistakes, correct yourself, you come back to your decision, and it's long and it takes time and it's tiring.
Yeah.
But it does get easier, and every day you realize, when you look back, you think, oh wow, this time last week I wasn't able to eat X, Y, Z. I wasn't able to sit for this long. I wasn't able to cry, to feel, to laugh.
Yeah.
It's those little moments, those little glimpses of freedom that they make you want more freedom.
Yes, totally. I think for the listeners, probably don't know, or like I want to mention, like you decided at the end like go all in, which I recovery too, and I think is the best way to recover. You really want to hit the recovery. um I understand for people is not the best option. That's okay. For most people that start all in recovery and really commitment to that is, I don't know, when I say the fastest way, not like it's going to be fast, but it's going to be
Mm-hmm.
faster than having a plan and then you like everything, right? So I do remember the first time that we talked. Start recovering with some time of, I'm going to have extreme hunger, but like start setting goals of the extreme hunger, right? Like I don't know, maybe in your mind, like have these expectations that it's going to be 2 weeks, 3 weeks. But then it's coming like, it's not like that. And we start thinking like why you have expectations about this. And also the ED rules coming like very, very tricky in these parts. Can you talk a little bit about that?
I would love to. I think it's very important. Recovery again when we started speaking to you. So this last attempt at all in, I started in March. So it's been March, 4 months, 3 or 4 months, and I started in a typically underweight. That underweight body gave me permission to have extreme hunger again, because the eating disorder was manipulating my thoughts, my mind, saying you eat as much as you want, onto all hunger because you need to gain weight, because on the BMI, which is bullshit, we on the BMI scale you are underweight. However, I think, and I've learnt this through working with you, through listening to so many recovery podcasts, loads of books, that you can be underweight, under your natural set point weight at any size. Now, for me, that extreme hunger hit hard for the first 2 weeks. Oh, no, maybe a little bit longer than that, but it hit hard. I gained weight quick. Then my mind, and there's a few reasons for this, like that I was discharged from like the eating disorder because I'd reached a healthy BMI. The doctors were no longer concerned. My family and friends were no longer concerned because I looked healthy, I looked normal. So that convinced me that, okay, extreme hunger's finished and now I can be normal, yay. But no. I remember speaking to you and being like, Carla, I think my extreme hunger's gone. I think I'm recovered. I think I'm better. And that straight away, I think the eating disorder just grabbed hold of that thought, and starting pulling me back. Oh well, if you're normal, then you only need 3 meals and some snacks a day. If you're normal, you can start going on walks. You can start exercising again, and then very quickly, over the space of 2-3 weeks, I was quickly spiraling back into just compulsivity and restriction. And when I mean restriction, that was just minor restriction. Any restriction in eating disorder recovery is dangerous. It's red flag zone. And then it was actually my partner that caught me out, and he said, "Listen, I've noticed that you've been going on walks more often. I've noticed that you are eating a little bit less. You're not buying like as much what used to be challenging food, sort of like the ice creams and the chocolate and like loads of things like that. You're not buying as much food as you were a couple of weeks ago. And we had a long conversation, and then I was like, oh, yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe the eating disorder has got control of me again, and maybe I am being dishonest with myself. And it's that reality check, and then with like a lot of like self honesty and also a lot of compassion, because you can't change from hate, you can only change from a place of love and compassion. And that I was like, okay, let's jump back all in. So we had a pause. We had a 2-3 week pause of all in. Didn't do anything dramatic, but then it helped me learn that I have got to be committed, I've got to be consistent, and I have got to give this time. You cannot rush it.
Yes.
It also made me realize that a healthy weight for me is not a healthy BMI. Like nobody else, nobody external to my body can tell me you are now at your healthy set. And this is where the book Health at Every Size really, really helped me. The concept of health at every size really helped me. Looking a lot at different influencers who are in bigger bodies, who are living their best, full, free life. And it just helped me know that, like, okay, my recovery is not finished yet. My extreme hunger is, because my extreme hunger was and is mental hunger mainly. And I think it can be very easy to ignore mental hunger. So it was always there, and it was a case of me realizing, okay, my mental hunger is still there, and I need to commit again and go all in again, fully honor all this hunger, stop all the eating disorder compulsions, all the movement again, and continue.
Yes. Yes. And I think what you mentioned a lot of things here, but mental hunger and physical hunger is like physical hunger is always more important, and when you fulfill that, mental hunger doesn't have any impact, which is totally different, and more when you are recovering from an eating disorder, because the only way that your body communicates that you need to eat sometimes is your mental hunger. Sometimes you physically are going to be full, but you need more food. That's the way that your body loves you and try to tell you like, no, we need more energy because we have to repair so many things. We can imagine how much is not about weight, it's about what is happening inside of us, all our organs, but more of that, like our part of the brain, our soul, like many things create confidence in ourselves. And you mentioned compassion, and I think that's the key that we most of the time forgot. Like, we are recovery without compassion. We are recovery with this voice, the shoots, the judge voice. That's not the voice for recovery, because it's only used the same voice that the eating disorder is using for many years.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, and you pointed this out to me, um, by saying that like you can't change from a place of hate. You can change your behaviors and you can act differently, but you can't change on a deeper level from a place of hate, because it's a form of punishment. But if you bring in compassion and compassion with honesty, uh, then you can make sort of lasting, long lasting, beneficial, will like benefit your true self and not just externally give you external validation.
Yes.
That's important to remember.
Yes. Something also, Georgia, that is happened a lot with some of my clients, and I also listen outside. Like, people is really scary to go all in because they think that they are going to turn in compulsive eaters and then like develop eating disorder, or like translate the eating disorder to another place. But we talk about this, and what do you think is the main difference now that you experience it?
So, yes, we did talk about this. I remember messaging you saying, "Oh, but Carla, if I honor all of my hunger, I am going to eat forever and ever, and I'm going to mold into my sofa. I am never going to move again, and I am going to just be surrounded by food, empty food packages, and I won't be able to work. I won't be able to go outside. I'll just become like." And I'll be honest, my fear was that if I was to honour all my hunger, I would become fat and lazy. You helped me work on my own fat phobia. Why would being fat be a bad thing? It's not. And there's a lot of different reasons for that, and I think it's so important for people in recovery. I mean, I wish the whole world would work on fat phobia. Why are they afraid of fatness? For people in recovery, let's start there. It's so important to work on your internal fat phobia and repair that relationship. And then, like, the difference, so honoring like my mental hunger, my extreme hunger, was like a genuine need of mine. Now it doesn't feel like that in the moment. Sometimes I will be thinking about food and questioning, constantly questioning, but I've literally just eaten my lunch. Why do I want lunch number two? Like, it's wrong. I'm thinking about food. Why am I doing this? Deep down, it does feel like my body's just going, like, yeah, I could distract myself. I would be capable of distracting myself, but right now, like, for me, a massive sign of my hunger is concentration. I cannot concentrate. I cannot do anything if I have mental hunger. If I'm thinking about food or if I'm physically hungry, I cannot function. So in a way, it's the opposite. My fear of if I eat, I will not be able to do anything is actually reversed. Because for me, it's when I don't eat, I can't. I've got brain fog, can't concentrate. I can do things, but I'm not truly in it. I'm not truly immersed in it. I'm just externally doing, but my brain's just in the kitchen. Uh, and then when I eat, I mean, at the beginning there was a lot of guilt, but I've done a lot of work around the guilt, and now I'm at the place where I overthink it. I think, oh, should I eat? Should I not eat? I can't concentrate. I eat and then I forget, and then I can be productive. Then I can do something. And sometimes that lasts a couple of hours. Sometimes that lasts 30 minutes, and then I'm hungry again. But I'm learning that I can trust my body, my cues. I can trust my mind and my brain. It is a process.
Yes, yes. I think when you just knock out the rigidity around food and start like more flexibility with no, I mean, talk also like how much when you don't have your eating disorder or when you still like your recovery, you still need to take care of you, right? Like it's not going to be right even if you are not hungry past the whole day without eating. Like you had to meet like be commitment with your health in all the ways, so you still need to eat even if you are not hungry, even if you are recovered. And I think I hear one day well, the people that have an eating disorder, they get like allergic to restricted just because it's like we cannot put it in dangers. Of course, you are recovered, but you are not going to put yourself in the point like, okay, I'm going to restrict because I'm recovered. That's just not happen. So we are more mindful about be care of our eating, what are we eating, and really like we have this flexibility variability and consistency all the time.
Yeah.
And I think you explained it so good. Even if you think that you were in a place to recover, also you notice like you are not dead because even if you are acting like a recovery people, your thoughts still connected with the eating disorder. If you didn't notice it, it's going to be just time to going back to the whole thing of anorexia. So I'm so proud of you because you are a brave, encouraged woman. So these advices from outside, because it's so hard when you are in a quasi-recovery that you feel better, you are doing it better, you look better, everything in your life comes better, wonderful, but you are not there. And accepting that part, so, I mean, demands a lot of courage, and you have it. So I'm very proud of you doing that.
Thank you. Yeah, I think what you said then about sort of quasi-recovery is like the eating disorder puts you in, it locks you in a dark room of your house. You can't do anything. You can't socialize. You can't see the truth. Then, when you start to do a little bit better and you enter quasi recovery, it's almost like you open the door of that room, but you are still in your house. And that's exactly how I felt. Like I would be able to function within the structure of like my within the structure and the routine of me living at home and going to work and coming home, and that was like it. But then full recovery is like you open the door of your house and you go outside into the big world, and then you have freedom to live inside your house. You can have some structure there. You may go to work, but then you can also feel freedom to go on holiday and eat foods on holiday, and socialize and go dancing. Like the world is big and it's there for you to discover, and it it can be scary because once you open that door you're like, wow, where do I go now? This world is so big. um, I think in recovery learn how resilient, and I think people with eating disorders in general are very clever, very resilient and very brave. And if a person has been through an eating disorder, then they can go out into the big world. Like they are brave enough, they are strong enough to live in the world without an eating disorder if they have managed to survive life with an eating disorder. And the world needs people like that. The world needs these clever people that unfortunately have mental health illness. We need people like that recovered in the world to be able to like just advocate and just live their full free lives. Like people don't have to do anything special, but they just need to live in freedom because that is special.
That people don't need to do anything special because they are special. I love that. I love that part because it's true. The eating disorder take the power for us. Who else is going to give the power to your eating disorder? It's not connecting from outside. It's connecting from your whole and your cold serve that's serving to the eating disorder. If you start moving the power because it's your power, your healthy part to your core self, of course it's going to getting better because whatever you do is hard already. Having an eating disorder is freaking hard. So many things we did that the normal people can do. Hard. It's not easy to live in a routine, to live in a schedule, to don't have fun, to just wake up, survive the life. That's not easy. So I think sometimes the eating disorder boys try just to convince you that you are not strong enough, but you really are strong enough.
Yeah, absolutely. I I quite like the comparison, the analogy between sort of an eating disorder being like a toxic relationship, a toxic romantic relationship, an abusive relationship. The eating disorder tricks you into thinking that you are worthless and that you cannot do anything but a pile of poo. You are terrible. And that's like you have to prove it wrong and you have to prove to yourself that you are worth this. The big thing for me in recovery like was to know that right, it's time for me to do this for myself. I'm not doing it for my mum, I'm not doing it for my partner, I'm not doing it for my therapist. I need to prove to myself that I am strong enough to overcome and go through the fear rather than just avoiding the fear and running away from it. I think that's why coaching is like so good as well, because when you work with a coach, they ask you the questions and they guide you to find the answers within yourself, because you know the answers, you have the answers, but you just can't find them. It's like you're searching in a dark room and the coach will come and turn the light on and just help you, just guide you.
Yes.
Like a lot of people with eating disorders, and myself definitely, I am so stubborn that I want to do this by myself. I don't want to do it for me. This is my project. I'm recovering and I'm discovering my life. But I do need a little bit of help. I need some support. I don't want you to tell me what to do. Just guide me. Ask the questions and let me find the answers. And that is what is so empowering about coaching, is that you get to build that relationship.
Yes. And I think one part is the coaching part, and when the other part is the commitment of the other part, that you were really commitment to the process. You really show up every time. You really, like, as you say, because you are very stubborn. All of us we are, but also we are very, very plan ahead, very like just conquer what we say. Like we use the power that the eating disorder has, and you put it now in recover. That's why every time you show up, you say like, no, I'm going to eat. I'm going to just keep going. I didn't have to mention, and I think a lot of the time during our calls and messages, I always say like, you are coaching yourself. That's great. You are a great coach. I think one part is the coach, but the other part is the other people that has to be commitment and present and just believe. And that's the thing. Like you need to be before you see the results, because if you don't believe, nothing is going to happen.
Yeah, definitely. I think like there are a lot of people now putting their story out on social media, for example. They are proof of recovery. And when you get to work with so you see these people on social media that have recovered by going all in or any other method, but you always think, oh, I can't do that. Like I'm the exception. And what a coach does is like they give you a reality check and basically say like, you're not a unicorn. Unicorns do not exist. You can get to this goal, that you can achieve what you see other people achieving. You are no exception. And then also I think the side of committing to it is like a recovery coach will remind you of your commitment and you of why you're here in the first place. You also just have to give yourself time. Like I think I've said it earlier, but you can't rush things. It's also about knowing that there's no one way of doing it. So, for example, some people will say you must rest and you must eat all the food. Some other people will say CBT. Some other people will say therapy, talking therapy. The truth is that it's a mix of all of those things. All of those things, it takes time. It does, and you have to be. I think first, like, mainly it's a food first approach, because if your mind's not nourished, you can't work on the emotions because you can't feel. The eating disorder kills all emotions.
Yes.
So you've got to start on the nourishment, and then you start feeling emotions, then you've got to work through the emotions, then you've got to work through the body image, and you talk and you do opposite actions, and it's messy and it's hard work, but it's possible.
Yes, and it's a continue, and you are right. It's not only way to recover. There are many paths that you can take, and all of them can really put you in the recover place, like just be recovered. But the thing is, like, what is working for you, and you have to be realistic and like true with yourself. Like, this is working for me or not? Because me and you try many things.
Hmm.
We didn't be honest in that time. Like, it's really not working. It really didn't take me to any place. I think one of the part is like be true to yourself, and if something is not working, go and find something that works for you. or maybe it's not working because you are not commitment, because you are not showing up. And it's not about like you have a will, because sometimes our will is not being there. Like you don't want to pass all these things, but you show up. It's like it
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
yeah, absolutely. I agree. I think it's um, so recovery is a lot of asking questions and asking, is this truly what I want, or am I doing this for the eating disorder or for somebody else? And a lot of it is asking yourself what your values are. And the truth is, you might not know. When the eating disorder has become your identity for so long, or even for a short amount of time, it might completely cloud your judgment. You might not know the answers, but you have to just show up and keep looking and keep taking the actions. It's that combination of being willing to keep turning up for yourself, showing up for yourself when you feel hopeless, when you don't know where to look, but just show up, just start looking, just take the action, because you have to do recovery. Recovery doesn't happen. You have to take the actions to make it happen. But then that, like, for so long, I was just like, I'll just follow a meal plan, let somebody else do recovery to me, and it doesn't work. You've got to go and take the actions, make the decisions, and just keep going. Even when you do not know where you're going, just keep going.
I know. I love that. Well, the time is going, and I don't want to. I want to ask two questions before going. I want to ask you two things. What is coming from Georgia, from the place are now and in the future? What is coming?
So with recovery, I am discovering what I enjoy doing uh, outside of any eating disorder behaviors, because I used to think that I enjoyed, and the only things that I enjoyed was looking at food, like moving or exercising. Through going all in recovery, those things have been like removed from my to-do list. So I've been able to discover what actually makes me happy. And I am learning that me being more relaxed and being more open to opportunities makes me happy. So I think like the recovered me will be just a brighter, more confident version of the me that I am now. So I'm hoping just to keep growing in all the ways. And then I've also discovered that I really love speaking to other people about their experiences for my benefit, and I love helping other people. And I love writing, so I've just started doing a blog. I've only done one post that I've done in 4 parts because I can talk and can write for a long time. But I really, really enjoy doing that, and that was the one of the first things. I only started it last week, and I was writing, and I was just thinking like, I love this. Like, so that was a true moment of like, I found something that sparks joy, and it's a new thing. I've never tried it before, so that was really nice. Yeah, I love writing, so I'm going to carry on my blog, and I hope to continue like supporting other people. I've got an Instagram page where I speak to a few people on there who are also going through recovery. Supporting them is also bringing me a lot of joy, so I hope just to keep doing that and to hopefully just keep growing that. Looking to becoming a coach would be extremely exciting. I'm not there yet, but I am definitely open to the idea, and yeah, I want to learn more about that.
Oh, I love that. I love all of that because you mentioned like you are happy and you want to be happy and like connected with yourself in many ways, not just about food, which I'm so excited because we talk about food, but we also know like if you are recovered from an eating disorder, you are open to the joy to really enjoy life. And live life in all the ways and all the forms that you can and feel freedom. And I'm so happy because you are going to be there for sure. And remember, I know you are not you are not a coach yet, but you are building a coach now, because the coach in the future is building now. So I'm so excited for you, and I don't have any doubt that you are going to turn in a great coach, because you coaching yourself so many times. And also, I know you are going to, the people can reach to you, right? Like, you can leave us your pod, like what are you doing? That's your stop. And well, all the information, if they want to read it or contact with you, I mean, you are open for that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I do spend a lot of time on my phone, like every single person in this life, and I enjoy speaking to other people. For me, I needed reassurance, I needed validation, I needed someone to tell me that the hunger that I was feeling was okay, that the sadness that I was feeling was okay, and I want to be that person for other people. People can DM me on my Instagram, read my blogs. If there's anything that you want me to write about, I would love to, for my own benefit, because I enjoy it so much. Yeah, I am open to that, absolutely.
I'm so happy. And people is going to feel so much love, because I know you are still in recovery, but you are ahead of so many people, and that's made you can possible to coach other, because you have to be just steps forward to other to give like some advices. And I think you are really good for that. So I totally
Thank you.
encourage you to continue and believe that you already that coach in the. So keep going, because oh my god, I can't wait for that day. What
Thank you.
do you think? I mean, if I did ask a lot of questions, but I want to ask you, what would you like to say? Would you like to listen that past version of you that no one told you in that moment, and you will like people?
I would want to say that, like, you are going to feel scared often, but that you can't run away from the fear, that you have to go through it. Still to this day, there are a lot of things that scare me, and that's related to recovery, but also into the wider world. Recovery from an eating disorder will not fix all of my problems. A past version of me hoped that if I recover from my eating disorder, then everything in my life will be perfect. That's not true. Like, there are elements now still in recovery that scare me, related to food, to weight gain, to exercise. And I'm learning that the only way to I'm learning that feeling scared is okay, and then that the only way to go through that, well, the only way to get over the fear is to go through the fear and let it happen. And then I'm also learning that about life in general, that you will have problems in life, you will have difficulty, and you will be scared of the big world, but that's okay. And it's okay to be scared. What's not okay is to hide away from the fear. You've got to keep going, you've got to go through that fear, and you've got to find ways to challenge it. And you don't have, you can do it by yourself, you can decide, but you don't have to do it alone. It's
Yes.
okay. It's okay to ask for guidance, for support. You are not a failure if you need a little bit of help and encouragement along the way. And I think that's what I would like to have heard.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And yes, you don't have to do it alone, because
Mm-hmm.
um, dating disorder works alone. And when you put it yourself in the only path, and when I say alone, I'm not saying like you have to do it with a professional, just talking with someone, just have someone next to you, right? Like you are open to speak up what is happening, what is inside of you. Because when you made dating disorder your only interlocutor, your only way to speak up is going to
Yeah.
just speak all your mind, and you don't have any other people or sources that coming in your mind. So it's very important to don't pass alone. Look for help. Obviously, there is some people that is going to be beneficial, others no, but make your community. And I think something important that I want to mention, what you are doing right now, that you are writing. And I think like when you start creating things, it's
Mm-hmm.
community that you start looking for, because you start looking for, okay, I'm going to expose to all bodies, right? I got all the diversity of the bodies. I'm going to like start exposing me to new messages that is not diet culture. That things are making community, virtual community. And maybe I had to stop, like, I don't know, you say like you had to stop working some days because it was
Yeah,
so triggering for you, right? Yeah, all
absolutely.
that.
It's difficult to recover in a world is like full of diet culture, and especially like it's weight loss is trending again, which is a terrible thing. I also like what you mentioned then about creating and about when the eating disorder becomes your only like the only person you interact with. It does consume you, and recovery is about learning how to find your own voice and make it louder. The eating disorder voice doesn't stop, but what happens is your voice gets louder and louder, and creating is a way to make your own voice louder. So your voice gets louder and louder and louder, and the eating disorder voice gets a little bit quieter every single time. Sometimes it'll have a tantrum, and it'll scream at you, and then your voice, your true voice, can go, no, 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 be quiet,
Yeah.
and then you take the power back from that eating disorder, and is that's when you feel the power. Like that's when you're like, yeah, the power's mine. Eating disorder, like I'm taking this now, and that feels really, really good.
And see the I think like we with Joe, like, okay, if eating disorder is making a tantrum, like really doing so good, because we want that, but we want the eating disorder tantrums, because that means like we really make a big space to change, to stretch the zone, to leave that safe zone, which is amazing. It feels so bad, but it's good that we have these tantrums from the eating disorder. And what I want to mention is like when you create these possibilities for you, like you are writing, you are making your journal, you are making posts, it's also thinking like you are creating spaces for another people, and that are looking that space that create community with you. So the thing is like the beautiful part of when you are starting recovery, you're recovering for you, of course, but then this is spread in many ways, and then touching lives that you really didn't know or didn't imagine how much it's going to spread your recovery. I want to mention that to you, because what you are doing now, and the speaking in this podcast, and doing all your journal, and like your substance and your post, is going to be is worthy already, because you are touching people that need
Yeah, even if it does just help one other person,
other.
like another person that is going to step into their power and then maybe help another person, and it spreads. Like life and joy spreads, and that's what we're here for. That's why human beings are the way we.
Yes.
Yeah.
Georgia, thank you so. I don't know, you have any other message, something else to say before leaving?
No, I feel like I could talk forever, and I feel like that is a good place to end for now, because if not, I will just go on to a whole other tangent. So that's, yeah, we'll leave it there for now. Yeah, like I said, I'm happy to chat anyone who has any questions.
Yes, we are going to put all your information down, and George is coming back in the future for the second episode to see what is happening there. But I'm glad to be part of your life, for part of your process. Thank you. Thank you for believing in yourself, and thank you for being here today. I could
No,
say bye to en español. Gracias por estar aquí. El episodio lo pueden oír en Spotify en inglés, pero en YouTube lo pueden oír con subtítulos. De verdad los animo a que vayan a YouTube, porque si estás en recuperación y no hablas inglés, siento que esta es una plática que realmente tienes que escuchar porque te puedes recuperar. Hay una persona aquí, Georgia, que abrió su corazón y te está también diciendo es posible para ti. Entonces, ve a YouTube, ahí vas a poderlo también ver con subtítulos en español. Gracias. Gracias, Georgia.
De nada.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.